Today is August 11th, 2021. This is the Kubernetes CSI implementation meeting. Let's go down our usual agenda, which is release statuses. Starting with 122, we are releasing our sidecars, so let's see where we are. First, we have provisioner.
Yeah, on the provisioner, I have the release notes PR opened. I see there's some feedback. I got to address that today, and then we can proceed with releasing.
Awesome, great. Next up is Resizer.
I think we don't. I haven't got to release it. There was some PRs going around for the updating the spec. We don't necessarily need that in Resizer. We don't have any changes, but other than that, we could actually cut a release today.
Okay. I thought Chris had updated the spec in all the repos.
Yeah, and the CSI libutils that has the access mode library that's used.
Oh, this is updated. All right. Okay, cool. Yeah, the Resizer does not directly uses the access mode. It just gets you that part of the whole. It tries to get the capability, and getting the capability gets the access mode, but it doesn't use it directly. So it really does not have any change to speak of, to be honest.
I think that didn't Chris update it to use the new access modes?
I'm gonna pull up the code. Give me one sec. I'll follow up though.
He did, but like I said, it doesn't have direct Resizer. In no way directly uses those access modes for anything useful, if that makes sense.
Like it doesn't pass it down to the driver in one of the calls or something?
I think it does pass it down to the driver because it's there in the. It will pass it down to, but there's nothing in the code or spec that says that the driver's behavior changes if the access port is different.
That's correct. But I guess adding detection for the new access mode is still worth mentioning, I think.
Yeah, we could. Yeah, so I will generate the changes.
Because I guess like drivers might upgrade to 1.5 and then they might have support for the new access modes.
Okay. The question that I have been debating is, does this need a minor release or a patch release, like 1.2.1 or 1.3.0?
I would probably make it a minor release because we did upgrade the CSI spec.
Okay. All right. Okay, then I'll make a minor release and then we can go from there. I don't see any. All right.
All right, sounds good. I think, let's see, Attacher was released. Awesome. One thing I wanted to just popped into my head. Did we update the recommended version?
Yes, I think so. It's 122 now.
Okay. Cool. Awesome. Yeah, let's make sure when we do the changelog, we also update the README with this as well. All right. Next up is Snapshotter.
Yeah, so grants change on leader election. So that one is merged. So check with him on the patch related changes. I think he said looks like it's more involving than he thought, and so I think we won't be able to finish that very soon. So we are just pushing that to 1.23. So that means we can actually cut release now. I think everything's there.
Awesome. Thank you. And then external health monitor.
Yeah, so I'm still waiting for Ran to get back to me to see if he has time on. There was a PR that he kind of started working on it, but it's not finished yet. So we'll ping him again. I told him that I like to decide early next week. So if he can't get it done, then we'll just cut the release.
Okay. And
Oh,
were
and
there
also-
changes made to the repo?
Yeah, there were some small changes. There's not
Okay.
big ones. Oh, there was one thing that you were checking with me. The leader election or some config options for that. That one is not in here, so we don't have to rush for this one. This one does not have like any critical changes. We can wait a little bit longer. Maybe wait for that change to be there before we
Yeah.
add a release.
That makes sense. All right, thank you. Next is node driver registrar. Chris, have you had a chance to look at this?
Sorry, I was checking the Resizer code. Repeat the question.
Have you been able to look at the node driver registrar?
I haven't got to it yet, but I'll take a look at it today.
Okay, cool, thank you. I think next up we have Liveness Probe. Chang is out this week. We could actually, I forget, is Chang out for longer? We can potentially check again next week. If he's out for longer than I remember, maybe we can get someone else to take a look at Liveness Probe.
Yeah, he will remote work next week.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay. Yeah, I think we can check back with Chang next week then. It's fine.
Mhm.
Then we have the data source related stuff.
Yeah.
Operators.
Can y'all hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Who can walk me through the mechanical process of actually doing a release? I've never done it before.
I can help you with that.
Ching
Yeah.
can? Okay, thank you.
You're admin, right? So you should be able to, at least you should have permission. Okay, we can, try
Yeah,
that.
there's also a document.
Oh yeah, actually it's good. Yeah, maybe go through the document. It actually has pretty clear steps there.
Yeah. I'm as noob as it can get, and I was able to make a release by following the short document.
Okay.
Document here.
But anyway, yeah, if you have questions, I can walk you through as well.
Thanks.
I'll put the link in the doc.
In the agenda or in the chat?
Yeah, in the agenda.
Okay. All right, I'll be able to get it there.
The instructions are mostly working. I think there's some of the
one
stuff
thing
might
though,
not work.
again, you have not set it up for the image to be published, right? So
Right. Yeah. So the reason I'm asking is I imagine I'll have to do more than one release, like an alpha 1 and an alpha 2 and an alpha 3, or so, just to get the basic coding to build the images and then test that it actually pushes something. And then if anything goes wrong, there might need to be follow on because it's alpha. And I want to minimize the number of
so maybe you want
bad
to use one is a lib, right? So that one does not have maybe we should do that one first. So that is the same.
But the lib will have a sample that we agreed probably should build a container that should get pushed to a repo.
So we can get started. Let's maybe start with that just without the image first, because for the image you actually need to add those projects in test info. You have, I don't think, have you done that? Not,
no,
right?
no. So yeah, this is exactly the help I need.
Okay. Yeah, so we can let's go through that. Maybe I would say first do the lib one without the image first, get that one, and then of course, and then testing for you need to add a project. So at least
And also, while you're setting up the image building, you should help document it too. We can add it to like this page.
Yes, the how-to for the next poor soul.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you very much. Yeah, let any of us know if you need help setting up any part of the release build process. All right. And then I think let's see, next up we had CSI test. I think the main thing we want to wait here is for the access modes test case. I think, Chris, do you know about when you might be able to work on that?
Yeah, so to provide some context, I've been trying to get this working in the GCPD CSI driver and encountering some issues, but I think I might have a path forward. I'm going to try and work on that today. And so I'm going to try and prioritize that for this week to add the test.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. You can also, if there's like too many problems with getting the PD driver updated, you can also try using host path driver.
Okay.
Cool. And then host path driver needs to wait for everything else, so we'll do that last. All right. Oh, the one more thing on here is CSI proxy. I guess, Jing, do you have an update on how the promotion discussion's going?
Yes. So last time I joined the working group meeting, and I submit the PR similar to what Justin did, and kind of trying to get some response, but they haven't responded to me yet. I plan to attend their next meeting to read this question again.
Okay.
So basically, last meeting, they just told me, yeah, I should follow that, and they will work from there, but they haven't. Yeah.
Okay. And if you need, if you're looking for an urgent response, you can just ping Tim directly if you need to.
Tim Hawken?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, I see. Sure.
Sounds good. Thank you. So I think that's all we have for 122. Do we have any other topics?
Yeah, you asked me to join the call because you want to discuss the volume snapshot namespace transfer.
Oh, I think Jean, Monday you said you wanted to talk about the use cases for the volume snapshot namespace transfer. So Mustafa is here.
Yeah. So I see there is some in the design, right? We discuss this. Who should make the request? Would approve that or request? I feel those type of discussion, like if we understand the critical use cases, that would be better. So in the design doc, I didn't see much of those like discussion related to the critical user journey or use cases.
You mean the design doc or the CAP itself?
The CAP.
Yeah, so I followed in in the CAP that was open before, and I use the same stories, but we can extend this, of course.
Okay.
Do you want to go over some of those? Maybe when see what is not clear. Maybe you want to share, Mustafa, just to take a quick look of the use
I can
case
stop
section.
sharing.
Oh, I think we need to make him a co-host. I think only you can make him a co-host.
Oh, only I can?
Yeah, co-host cannot.
Really?
Yeah, I'm surprised.
I dropped the link for the CAP, so anyone can share it.
Oh, okay.
Mustafa, I made you co-host, so you can share
Yeah, you
if
can
you
actually.
want.
Okay. Sorry. Here. Can you see now the GitHub?
Can you make it a little bit bigger? It's kind of small.
Yeah, sure. Just going through. So the user stories here. So these are the stories I followed. These were already in the other kits. So I just use them, but we can extend them, of course. So should I explain the stories, or like everyone can read them?
So you have one story here. They are this. Are they
Yeah. So yeah, basically, so this story was was used already in the previous kit from Christian Hoffman, and also in the sample that was created by Michael Erickson in his PR. So it just uses like if we want to transfer the volume snapshot content from one namespace to another, what exactly will happen? What should we do? I just this the story that is written here is just to depict what exactly should be expected from this kit, because the final target is to be able to move volume snapshot between namespaces, and they can consume different volume snapshot content. So, and just the story is just a depiction of that. But if there is other stories that is required or much more specific, so I can extend it, but this is the story that I have so far.
Okay, and I remember there was discussion related the request should coming from which namespace, right? Like is there a conclusion? Like I feel I'm more agree with Yang's suggestion.
Yeah, so let me bring this here. So it's exactly here. So yeah, so actually Masaki also commented in that. So he said the current model, I fixed this now, but like what I expected or what I proposed, that the request will be in the target namespace and the approval will be the source namespace. Originally, it was the request was the source namespace and the approval was in the target namespace. So like Masaki said, he prefers the current model, which is the request in the target and the approval in the source for these reasons. Jans has a different opinion. And also he said that when we have this, when we follow the original proposal, it will be easier to control if we have more than one transfer request for the same snapshot. Because we can ascertain this condition. So I actually, because of this, I changed it to the original one. So now we have the request in the target and the accept in the source, exactly as the previous model.
Also, just there has been some precedent in Kubernetes for having this request and approval model, like I think it's used for certificates. Do we know how like their model works, and can we adopt a similar model for here as well?
No, actually, first time I hear about this. So, but this will be a good hint. So, can you just comment this on the KIP, please?
Yep, sounds good.
Okay, that's great. Actually, I didn't know about that.
Yeah, it's also very new to me about this request and the approval model. So yeah, I want to understand a bit better about this.
So just it's like a resource that will be created and it allow a user to initiate a transfer, because we are pending on having approval from the target namespace. And this will be by creating a PVC, which require a volume snapshot a resource, and this will trigger initiate the transfer.
So transfer means the original one is still there, right? And then you create a new one in the new namespace.
Yeah. So the volume snapshot content will stay the same, and the volume snapshot will stay the same. What we will do is that we will create a new volume snapshot content, and the volume snapshot in the target namespace will refer to the new one. And to avoid the caveats when this transfer is happening, we should I changed this. I'm sorry. So we just we will change the original volume snapshot content deletion policy to retain. So even if the volume snapshot, the original volume snapshot in the source namespace was deleted, we will not delete the volume snapshot content. And we'll also make the original volume snapshot content not ready to use to avoid any operation in that. So we don't have many requests requesting the same volume snapshot resource. Many transfer, for example, or restoring a new volume from the same volume snapshot while we're doing the transfer. And
wait a minute.
The transfers,
I don't understand. So this isn't really a transfer. This is a copy, right? So now you're going to end up with two volume snapshots and two namespaces that refer to the same thing. Given that the old one isn't going away, why prevent a clone on it? Because presumably after the transfer, you'll be able to clone it again. So what's the problem with cloning it while it's transferring? Like, you're not actually doing anything to the storage, right? It's just you're making copies of Kubernetes API objects. The storage itself doesn't know you're doing anything at all. It's one snapshot and it can still be cloned as far as the CSI driver is concerned.
I agree with you that. I want to avoid having operations that's consuming the volume snapshot content itself, giving that the volume snapshot content ref in other resources could refer to the same volume snapshot content.
Yeah, but I guess I don't see the problem. I mean, you're going to end up in a situation where you got two things referring to the same snapshot through two different volume snapshot and I create this situation all the time myself. I'm familiar with it. So I don't see why that's a bad thing. But what I do see as a bad thing is you're going to end up with two volume snapshot contents, both of which have a deletion policy of retain. Is that correct?
No, I will change the original one to retain until the transfer is done, and then I will restore it again.
Oh, okay. So there'll be a
yeah.
Okay. Well, then what happens if someone deletes it in that window when it's set to retain?
Delete the volume. Okay, that's why I make the volume snapshot itself to not refer to the volume snapshot content. I will make it not ready to use, it to be false. So I like any operation to delete the volume snapshot itself will not result in deleting the volume snapshot content itself.
Right. It seems like a finalizer is a better approach here than actually changing the deletion policy on the original one. I agree that the new volume snapshot content object should have a deletion policy of retain, but the old one, if it was originally delete, it could just stay delete through this entire process, and you could just add a finalizer to the object that doesn't go away until.
Why is that a problem? You can delete it, right? If it's retain, you can delete that, and then your.
Well, the problem is if you change it to retain and back, if you delete it within that window, Kubernetes will lose all references to the snapshot, and it will still be there, and you won't have actually deleted it. So that's not what the user intended by setting the policy to retain.
If somebody else.
Yeah, I mean,
that by accident, is that the?
Well, an admin could come in and say, I wanted to, someone who knows nothing about what the transfer that's going on could see the volume snapshot content object, say, I want this gone, and just delete it. It could be a controller, it could be an automated process. There's all kinds of things that might decide to reap a snapshot. And if it happens in that window and there's no finalizer and it just poofs without actually deleting the snapshot, you've leaked a resource. So it sounds like what we're trying to achieve with this twiddling of the deletion policy is to prevent deletion, and and that's exactly what finalizers are for, is to say, hey, I'm using this, don't delete it until I'm done, and then when you're done, remove the finalizer.
Yeah, finalizer seems a good way to handle this situation. And also, I feel transfer this term a little bit misleading, or.
I mean, you could imagine wanting to enable both a copy and a move, a copy across namespaces and move across namespaces. The only difference between the two is, do you delete the old one when you're done, right? And when you and after the transfer is done, who has the power to actually delete the real physical snapshot? Because it sounds like in this copy case, only the original owner can actually delete the real snapshot. If you did an actual move, presumably you'd want to reassign that responsibility to the recipient of the snapshot. I don't know, responsibility for deletion is always the ugly thing when you start playing this game of multiple content objects referring to the same physical snapshot.
Yeah.
And
I agree with you, the finalizer is a good approach. But just I want to understand, you said that other resources in Kubernetes could try to access the same volume snapshot content or delete it. So as far as I understand, the mapping between volume snapshot content and volume snapshot is one-to-one, and the only way to refer to the volume snapshot content is to row this volume snapshot. Is this correct?
No, I mean, for users with ordinary levels of RBAC access, that is correct. But for users with elevated privileges, they can do whatever they want. And in particular, other controllers that are trying to do things with snapshots may have the ability to delete volume snapshot content objects by themselves. And there's nothing we can do to stop that other than put a finalizer on it. So I would not presume that because ordinary users RBAC doesn't let them do this, that no one can ever do it. There's plenty of possibilities for controllers with elevated privileges to come in and muck with your VSCs.
Okay, I got your point. Yeah, this is actually something that should be considered. Would you kindly just add this as a comment on the tip?
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Okay, any other questions or comments, things that I missed by mistake?
I still need to read the updated version, but I was curious about the secrets because they were ignored in the initial version. Is it better in this version?
Well, we're only doing snapshots now, not PVCs. Then the secrets are only related to PVCs.
Well, Snapshot also has secrets, but I think we're saying that that's kind of like a phase 2 or something.
Yeah, but I would prefer to have a design at least for the secrets, because okay, we will implement the phase 1, but then we will have no way how to move to phase 2 because we don't know how.
So
yeah, actually this, yeah, you go ahead, please.
Oh, I just want to understand that the case for secret is you're saying the snapshots contain some confidential data. Is that
no, snapshot volume snapshot content object refers to a secret. And the secret could be in the namespace where the volume snapshot is used. So if we are going to transfer the snapshot to a different namespace, it may not have access to the secret any longer.
Oh, I see. Right.
So the current approach that we have validation webhook, and if we have a secret, we reject the transfer. But if you have a way to or to help with designing this, can you just help me with that, please?
Well, that's the reason.
where do secrets get attached to volume snapshot contents? I wasn't aware that this could happen.
And it's similar, it's very similar to PVC. So you could know the deletion, it's actually used at delete time. Deletion secrets.
So there's a field somewhere in the volume
snapshot
snapshot content object that I just never noticed before.
This one was added later, yeah, but it's there. So but since you're not using secrets, that's probably why you're not paying attention.
Yeah, I'd never noticed this somehow. I guess it was my oversight.
It's there, yeah. So to use the enlist snapshot as well. So both deletion and list snapshots. So yeah. So Yang, is this a problem that you guys also run into when Christian is working on this?
Yeah, that's exactly the problem we hit with PVCs, and we got stuck there. We didn't have a solution. So I would like to prevent that situation.
I think, I don't think we have. Do you think we come up with we talked about this, but I don't think we come up with a solution with this yet.
Yeah, that's the problem. So for snapshots, it could be easier. Like, is there any storage backend that uses secrets in snapshots? I don't know any.
Ceph.
Ceph. Damn.
That's actually yeah, because that's the only example I remember, because I remember they actually have some sample YAML files because I don't use that myself. So I look at that example to see how they are used.
All right, so
yeah, so they use that. Basically, it's like a storage credential. So they probably store those in the secrets. So when they go do something with the volume for each volume operation, they use that. So it's the same, yeah.
All right, so
secret. So we still have this problem.
Yeah, we still have this problem, and that was the blocker point in PVCs.
Okay. Now, if that's the case, should we actually first look at how to transfer secrets before we look at other objects?
No, I think that's.
But I mean, then what do you do
secret.
with but then what do you do with the secrets, right? So if you don't allow that to be transferred, then
I don't know. That is the problem.
I'm sorry?
I don't know, and that is the problem that we need to solve.
Right, so that's what
we get stuck.
I'm just throwing stuff up just to see what other ideas, right? So I think this one, we actually spent a lot of time talking about this one in last meeting as well, in at least the second meeting when Ben was there, right? We talked about
the whole point of de-scoping it from volumes and snapshots to just snapshots was to sidestep this problem, and apparently it was a complete mistake.
No, it's not secret. No, last time if you go listen to the recording, I think with volume is because there are a lot of race conditions. That's why we decided snapshot is better. Volume, like volume expansion, all of that, right? What do you do with those? I think because it has racy conditions, so we said, okay, let's start with the snapshot. Secrets is there as well. We do have problem with secrets for both.
I personally thought that was one of the big wins of de-scoping volumes and just doing snapshots.
It's race conditions, and then the secrets.
If we can solve the secret problem, then that will help both of them, and then you're back to just dealing with the races.
Okay, so looks like we need to think more about the secret. What do you do with secret? So Yang, you have any?
I don't have any smart solution. I don't, because I don't want to move secrets between namespaces, because like secrets are secret. They should be secret.
But hold on. Well, what if we just say like it doesn't work if there's any secrets? Like this is for transfer of things that don't have secrets, and
then secrets that's a good first step, right? So I mean,
yeah,
not everyone supports secrets.
We will abandon some CSI drivers.
Then they cannot use this feature. Just like a lot of features are optional, right? This is not a required feature.
Yeah, that's why the validation of webhook is there to reject the transfer if we have secrets.
So I remember, I think Luis was saying, if we just say, okay, this is, admin will have to make sure there are secrets in the other namespace as well or something. I think he said something like that. So we could also, I think this is something that they're doing already in their product.
That could be a solution, right? But then again, we need to describe it and.
So can we? Yeah, that's something that
really does that.
So I'm looking up the V1 version of the volume snapshot content object to try to find the secret field, and I can't find it.
Oh, it's not in. It's not like in there. It's like the. It's like an annotation, right? So that's why.
It's an annotation.
It's like from the stored class, and then you add the annotation. So that's why you don't see that.
Okay, so yeah, that's super gross.
I know. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So maybe.
That at least explains why I never found it, because there is no field. It was just an annotation.
Yeah. Like that's why it's a secret. So maybe we could try something like this, Yang. Maybe just say this is. I believe that's what Luis was suggesting. Just say, okay.
Yeah,
we'll just say
that could work.
Admin, make sure this exists. This is secret exists in the target namespace. What do you think? Right? Secret.
Yeah, that could work.
Okay.
Maybe we need to talk to Seth and people who use it actually, how they use it.
Yeah, so maybe that's actually, since they have this one, maybe it's good to actually talk to them. Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe you can.
You could start there, like require admin to make sure all namespaces have secret, because the users can initiate the transfer.
Mm-hmm.
They don't need admin privileges, and now admin needs to set up something for them.
But that's, I would just say if you have secrets involved, then that's right.
Yeah, well, Kubernetes users don't care. Then they have volume snapshot, that it's agnostic.
Yeah, I was going to ask it. Can Kubernetes create non-namespaced secrets? Is that a thing?
No.
Because that's kind of what we've wanted all along, right? With these CSI related secrets, is you kind of want to just store them next to the PV or next to the VSC that they're associated with. But because we can't do non-namespace secrets, we end up putting them in the user's namespace. But like, I don't know if that's really a desirable thing.
That's for another discussion, I believe.
Yeah. Oh, I feel like it was a decision made out of convenience that is coming back to bite us now, and I wonder if we understand.
Well, maybe people were using secrets. Maybe they don't want their name, their volume snapshot to be transferred. Maybe it's just
Well, yeah, I think there's a real question of who came up with a secret. Is it a secret the admin plunked down, or is it a secret the user actually created that he doesn't want anyone else to know?
This is actually it looks like this is required by the storage system, at least.
Right. But the question is who has to supply it? If the admin had to supply it, then putting it in the user's namespace didn't make any sense, right? Because it's something the admin supplied. It should be either in some non-namespace place or in a separate namespace.
Maybe we should really ask those, like when they are using this, what's their use case, right? Then we'll see if it makes sense.
But
to do this
again, like, volume snapshots are users thing and objects, and like they don't know anything about
but we also have this mixed. But we also have this mix, right? Like the pre-provision thing mixed together with that. In that case, you have to create
that's pre-provision. That's something else.
I know, but then you have to create a volume snapshot. In that case, you have to go find something else. So that is something that you actually need like two step, right? So I'm just saying the secret's kind of like that, I think.
Sorry, I forget if we've discussed this already, but I guess today with this current design, what happens if the transfer of a snapshot does have a secret? Do we change the namespace of the secret, or do we actually keep the old original namespace of the secret?
So right now,
if we just copied the object, it would leave the old namespace, and it would, because it's a non-namespaced object, it would just point back to the original secret in the original namespace.
In which case that could be like a security violation or something, right? Because actually the controller, which is the one accessing the secret, is cluster scope, so it can read all secrets.
It's not security violation. It's problem when you delete the source namespace. Then you have a snapshot somewhere that you can't use. and the target namespace has no control over that. Like it can be some namespace of somebody else, and they just decided to delete it.
Correct, but is it not? Well, I guess you have to approve it anyway. Both sides have to approve the transfer, and potentially that also means approving the other namespace to access the original namespace's secret.
Maybe, but extending this approval to responsibility for keeping the secret available forever and working is something completely different.
Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of feel like once both sides have agreed that they want to share the snapshot, they're implicitly sharing the secret too. And at that point, you may as well copy the secret, although that's going to raise a lot of eyebrows.
I don't know. Like, if these secrets are user secrets, then it could allow the target namespace to access any volume of the source namespace. If you have the secret.
In principle, yeah, that's true. If it's a secret that's shared by all of your snapshots and all of your volumes, and then you just transfer one snapshot, thinking you're only granting access to that one snapshot, but the act of doing so effectively gives them access to all of your data. That would be bad.
Exactly. So yeah, this is complicated. This is not easy to solve. And that's why I wanted to solve it before we jump to implementation that we could get stuck with later.
This is still cap, right? So not.
Yeah, I know, but all right. So we could talk to Ceph. We could talk to Portworx because they do some crazy secret stuff too. How they use it and how we can use it for snapshots. Maybe that will descope the transfer problem a bit, at least for PVs, at least for snapshots.
I think the only way we could, in the short term, address the problem is to just not support anything that has secrets, and then we have to revisit the whole process we have for attaching secrets to PVs and VSCs, and why they end up being in a user namespace, even if they were supplied by an admin. I understand that for secrets that originate from the user, they should be in the user namespace and they shouldn't just be copied around. But if it really is something the admin created, why are we putting in the user namespace? It creates too many problems.
I know secrets in PVCs. I'm not very familiar with snapshot secrets, but in PVCs, in the storage class, you can have a template. So you can use secret from a dedicated namespace. You can use just one secret, or you can use namespace specific secret for all the secrets of a PV.
Yeah, the snapshot secret is similar. It's also use a template. It's kind of
okay. So
but I don't know if we have any guidance around that, because for any secret that's supplied by the admin, I would imagine that should be in a dedicated namespace that's not based on the user's namespace. The ones that are based on the user's namespace should only be used if the user is the one specifying them and they don't want to share them.
That could be a cluster policy, like, I don't know, admission plugin or something that injects the secret when a namespace is created, and the secret is just for the namespace, and people from different namespaces can't access each other data. That makes some sense.
But under those circumstances, it would be reasonable to say you also can't transfer volumes and snapshots. Sorry, you've created a situation where data can't be shared, so don't expect the transfer feature to work. And that would be reasonable, I think.
Maybe, but again, it's a site policy. If maybe the policy could be, if they both agree, then okay, you can transfer volume.
Maybe you just need an extra flag that says, I want to transfer the volume and no secrets, and then it fails if there are secrets. And then you can have a second flag that says also transfer the secrets, so that they have to basically press both buttons if they want to do the more dangerous thing.
I don't know, maybe. Doesn't feel right, but maybe.
there's not a lot of other solutions other than to throw our hands up. And this, we keep wanting this transfer feature. I don't think we want to give up on the transfer feature, but secrets can keep blocking us. So we have to make some kind of compromise.
Yeah, but at the same time, I don't want to leave these CSI drivers behind.
It's not a matter of leaving them behind. It's a matter of saying, like, if you've set up a security regime where every namespace has different secrets so that they can't access each other's data, then you've created a situation where transfers are also impossible. And so,
okay,
you made your bed, now lie in it.
I mean, by reusing the snapshot restore process, I think that would also depend on whether or not the storage system supports restoring to other namespaces. Like, I guess I can imagine if a storage system was really advanced and, you know, did something like generating a secret per volume or something on the restore, it would generate some new secret for that.
Right, but that wouldn't be CSI compliant, right? I mean, CSI knows nothing about namespaces. It's completely hidden from the CSI drivers. So if you're doing anything with namespaces, you're already stepping outside of CSI into Kubernetes land.
Yeah.
Okay, so no one space. So I just want to say, like, can I continue like working away from the secrets for now?
I mean, if we could reach an agreement that, like, it's okay to just punt on anything with secrets, I think we could make progress under those terms. But I don't know if we're comfortable making that agreement that we can punt on anything with secrets. That's the hard call. And if we decide that no, we can't punt on secrets, then we're back to solving the hard problem, and we're stuck until we have an answer.
Yeah, like what I would suggest is to talk to Ceph, because they, at least we know they use this secret, and maybe they are fine with like making the volumes not transferable because of the secrets. And I don't know, maybe we can announce it on this CSI mailing list, okay? If there is anybody else, speak now or be quiet forever.
I wonder if there's a way that you could have some sort of policy flag on the controller itself that's doing all this work. You know, so the admin who sets up the controller could make the decision, like, I don't want to support transferring any secrets, or I do want to allow secrets if they're in like this one particular namespace, which is where all my CSI secrets are, because then it's not a user namespace, it's a special namespace. Or like I do want to allow copying user namespace secrets. Like, you could have just flags that let, you know, the guy who sets up the controller itself in his specific installation do what makes sense, because it's going to depend on the CSI driver and what its needs are. And it's also going to depend on how you set up your storage classes with those various secret templates, right? That's a decision that the deployer has to make.
I think it's not for the person who deploys the controller, because they can be different CSI drivers with different policies. But the cluster admin should know, and the CSI driver or admin could know. The CSI driver author could know.
Yeah, but I feel like, you know, the person who's installing all of these things could be in a position to set a policy, and if we give them a few different options to get different behaviors that might be desirable, maybe we can cover all of our bases just by giving them like a a no secret option, only one namespace secret option, and an all secrets option.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And make it default to no secrets so that it's secure out of the box, and you have to make the decision to support transferring things that have secrets on them.
That's actually a good idea. We could make it configurable somewhere. Questions where, because we don't have global objects in Kubernetes. But
I'm thinking
policy.
command line options for the binary. So you just edit the pod definition for this transfer controller and set the command line options.
Yeah, okay.
That's how we do it for CSI sidecars. A bunch of different command line options for each sidecar.
Yeah, but they're driver specific, so each driver can have different.
Yeah, we would have to explain that, like, you better know what you're doing here.
Now it's
because it's going to affect all of them.
We expect that the Kubernetes vendors know, because that's the decision that Kubernetes vendor must do and provide this config option to user. But yeah, okay, that's a good idea. So Mustafa, can you put a small chapter that we in the future we will make the secrets kind of configurable, so the cluster admin will have option to either sync the secret or block the secret transfer, or I don't know what, and that could be it for this release.
Okay, just I need just points, or at least tell me what exactly the options, so I don't make things wrong in the kit.
I think we would want to have an option that by default we would refuse to transfer things that have secrets. But if someone specifies a config option, then depending on the namespace the secret is in, we might allow the transfer if we've been given the option. And I don't know exactly how flexible that option needs to be, but the default could be to literally just not support ones with secrets, because that's going to cover 95% of drivers, and it's the easy case. And then we have a path towards supporting the other ones, but with an option.
Yeah.
So can we use like a config map, just to say map from the old secret to the new one or something?
I think that's an implementation detail by now.
Yeah. Okay, sure. I will edit now.
Thank you.
So I will edit to I will change it because secrets within non-goals. I will edit to to goals that secrets are allowed only with the config maps or options. Okay.
Yeah, and we'll review the document, see if it makes sense.
Yeah, and please just Ben, add your comments in the kit. I ask you to add them if you have time.
Yeah, I've got a lot of action items after this meeting.
Yeah, when you have time. Okay, anything else I should add? Okay.
I've got another meeting in 3 minutes, so I'm done.
Sure.
All right. Great. Good discussion. Thanks for staying late, everyone.
Yeah.
Any other last minute topics? All right, then let's end for today. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.